Wow. Hey guys, how you doing? Just looking through my 75 years of DC anthology here. This is a really fantastic coffee table book. It's about a $300 book. I picked it up a few years ago, and some of the reproductions are absolutely spectacular. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for Jose and Mike to show up. We got a really great episode for you tonight. I think for the most part tonight is going to be all CGC books. Yeah, because Jose just got back a very large shipment of CGC books that he sent out through Retro Rare Collectibles. And they went out a few months ago and just came back last week. A lot of surprises, both good and bad. So we're going to spend, I think, the next 2 episodes unboxing, going through all these books that he got back, and we're going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I think you're going to enjoy these. These are going to be some really cool books you're going to see. A little bit of nerd news before we get started. As I'm sure most of us are aware, this week is the start of San Diego Comic-Con, or as they call it now, San Diego Comic-Con International. So it starts this week on Wednesday, July 20th, and runs till Sunday, July 23rd. And a spectacular event, the biggest convention in the world, the biggest nerd con in the world, and I'm sure a lot of us are really getting excited about going down there. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. Yeah, I'd love to get down there one day, but it's just so expensive. Me and Jose were trying to work out exactly what it would cost, and thinking between plane flight, hotel, the admission to the convention itself, plus spending money. It was probably a $3,000 to $4,000 weekend, so it's just not in the cards right now. But hopefully, in next couple of years, we'll find our way to get down there. And what else can I tell you that's new? Oh yeah, this week BBC unveiled the new Doctor Who, and for the first time, they're going to be going with a female lead. That's right, yeah. Jodie Whittaker is set to take the keys to the TARDIS as the 13th incarnation of Doctor Who. So all you Doctor Who fans out there, I'm sure that's pretty exciting, something new, something they've never really done before. And speaking of conventions, last weekend was D23 Expo, which is kind of the Disney convention. And Disney announces a lot of their new things that are going on in the Disney world. And one of the things they announced is they're going to be building a Star Wars themed hotel. Yeah. Set to open in 2019. They have indicated it will be like a Star Wars version of Westworld. So that that excites me. So hopefully when that's done, I'll be able to get down to that. And on a less happy note, as again I'm sure a lot of us are aware, both George Romero and Martin Landau passed away this week. So if you're a fan of The Living Dead, Night of the Living Dead, or zombie movies in general, or if you remember Space 1999 from the 1970s, which was a very successful TV show at the time, I'm sure it's been a pretty depressing week. But we're going to do more on these 2 iconic figures in a later episode, because I'm sure Jose and Michael want to sound off on that. What else is new? Josh Whedon. Josh Whedon was just asked to direct the new DC Batgirl movie, so that's kind of exciting. I've been a big fan of Josh Whedon since the early days when he used to do Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Very talented director, so yeah, I think DC is making a great move doing that. And finally, for those of you in the Toronto area, it's just been announced that Jason Isaacs will be coming to Toronto Fan Expo, which is pretty cool. He's probably best known for playing Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter films, where everybody a lot of big fans of Harry Potter out there. But me, I know him from a lot of his movies. Done a lot of really great movies over the years, like for example, Event Horizon, The Patriot, and more recently Fury. He played in Fury as well. And just recently, even more recently, he is playing, I believe, the captain on Star Trek Discovery. So it's kind of cool. He's going to be showing up in Toronto. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on in the I guess the nerd community right now. So yeah, that's about all I got to say on that. So like I said, Jose and Mike will be in a few minutes. So what I think we're going to do, like I said, mostly CGC tonight. We're going to start off showing you some of the, the unboxing footage from Retro Rare when Jose's CGC books showed up, and then we're going to go right into the books, and yeah, hopefully you're going to really like what we're about to show you. So let's not waste any more time. Let's have at her.
I thought this was at least around a 5.56.
I thought it was about a 6. I mean, look, it includes small amount of color touch on cover.
Color
so
touch.
Somewhere, and the other one was a showcase or Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
I've seen worse.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's the thing that what started me getting at 6. I went and unlocked a lot of them were rated at 6 and 6.5s, and I'm going, okay. I mean, that's not too far from my actually. And a couple of them I'm going.
Oh yeah, but this one I am very happy about. I'm glad, man, because this, wow,
Show it to me.
92.
Nice,
Man,
nice.
right now in the Overstreet 92 is $375 US, and I think that's a little. First Jim Aparo. And these guys, being the freaking idiots that they are, they do not put anything on there. That's one of the main things that CBCS. CBCS even goes to the point of
Jose, turn it towards the camera.
And one of them was the Captain Marvel that I traded. That some of those lower grades I got.
Okay, so here we go. So I guess tonight we're going to start with, I guess, the books that you got back that you consider disappointments. Is that correct?
Disappointment, and like remember, everything in life is relative. So it's interesting starting this segment with a disappointing book that comes back at a grade of 8.5 VF plus. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 194 from July of '79, first appearance of the Black Cat.
Yeah, it's a great book.
It's a great book. It's a tough black cover book, and I kind of perused it very closely, trying to examine it for like breaks of color on that tough black cover, and I didn't really notice anything major. Slight disappointment. I in my pre-judging, I judged it to be a VF near mid 9, so I was off by half a grade. So in the big scheme of things, it's not a big loss in that sense, but like everything else, it's what you have into it. I'm into it about a couple $100 Canadian. It's about 150. I bought it in the run-up when she had appeared in those pretty bad Spider-Man movies. I mean, not the Black Cat, but her character, Felicia Hardy.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's I'm not too disappointed I have it. I'm disappointed I have it only in an 8.5. An investment grade book for this would be, I mean, if you can't have it in a 9.8, try at least for a 9.6 or a 9.4. Otherwise, it's nice to have, but.
Well, I know you're not happy, but I mean, personally, I don't think an 8.5 is that bad of a grade, and this is a pretty major key, Jose.
Yeah,
so.
but it's not for this book. You wanted it higher, but you always want higher.
I get that.
Anyway, it's not a bad way to start. So let's get to the next book.
Cool. And I got to be honest, when I saw this one, this really surprised the hell out of me as well. The Silver Surfer number 3, because there's no way. I mean, in my humble opinion, there's no way that's a 7. No.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those tough 52-page, 25-cent spine-bound covers that are tough on the grading one, especially obviously around the binding area, the spine.
Yeah.
So it's number 3 from December of '68. It's a great Mephisto cover. Of course, that's the big key factor on this one. It's a nice red cover. Big John Buscema, the art there. On the comic book realm, a 7.0 currently is listed at a little over $253 US. Paid $180 Canadian, another $75 roughly to slab it and press it. So I'm into it a little over $250 Canadian. So, I mean, I'm not in the hole, but you know what? I was kind of like expectations, or I was sold that it was kind of more or less a VF. My pre-grade judgment on it, again, I was within half a grade. I judged it to be a 7.5 VF minus. So not a huge disappointment, not a huge financial loss. Glad to have this book, even in this grade, but I would have liked an 8, but maybe I was a little too optimistic.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, it's still a great book, and
nice to have.
Nice to have.
I really love that Buscema cover, one of my favorites.
Nothing wrong with the 7. And we have certainly had conversations about this book on more than one occasion in the past, that's for sure. And this is, of course, your Strange Tales number 135. And again, you weren't quite happy with this grade either, were you?
No, expectations were higher, as they would say. I bought this again from one of my locals there. I judged it to be when I bought it around a 6, a full 6, 5.0. So I mean, it would be within a half grade of that. I was maybe a little greedy and went and not like that movie, A Bridge Too Far, and I prejudged it to be a 6.5, 5 plus. So in that case, it would be a full grade off.
Yeah.
But realistically, I was hoping and thinking it was a 6. So being within half a grade, not a huge loss. The unfortunate thing, this is a big book. I mean, a nice round number, even 6.0 would have been really nice. But then we can always hope for that. You know,
Yeah.
of course, we don't have to say, I mean, we'll probably have graphics, but I mean, this is a huge key. This is probably the biggest Nick Fury Shield key within the Strange Tales run. It's the first appearance of Shield. It's the first appearance and Origin. It's
Yeah.
the first appearance of Hydra. It's the origin of how Sergeant Fury becomes Nick Fury, agent of Shield. So it's got the first appearance of the Shield helicarrier, which were featured in you know, prominently in the
last film.
in the Winter Soldier. So it's a huge, again, I paid a very good price. I paid 125 Canadian, so with another about $75 cost. So that's about even $200 Canadian for it. So it's about 150 US.
So you're into the book for 200.
200, and currently at 5.5 from the realm, they're trading at just under 200, 194.25 US. So it's a bit of a wash. Again, the only thing twinge factor here is, you know, you wonder why I wanted that half grade.
Yeah. But you know, 5.5, and what's this book from, what, 1965 or
Yes,
something?
this is from August of 65.
You know, so, you know,
It's over a 50-year-old book. I know it's in better shape than we are.
better shape than I am, that's for sure. Well, it's a fantastic book, Jose. I'm sorry you didn't get exactly what you're asking for, but I still think it's spectacular.
When do we in life?
And this is the big kahuna of disappointments, if I'm not mistaken. The one that came back that you were really, really not expecting. Am I correct?
Well, you know what? I thought I had looked that cover in that book through and through, not maybe page to page, but from cover and front and back, and I never detected the slight restoration as far as the color touch on the cover, which is mentioned as part of the information on the label banner on the top of the book. Of course, this was a big book, again, picked up from a local, $300 Canadian paid, to about 225 US in conversion rate. This is the Spirit #1 from spring 1952, Fiction House title. It's a great, I mean, I loved kind of the Spirit kind of myth more than the character. I've never really, it's from a generation before. It's Will Eisner, who's a
For sure,
legend. I
yeah.
mean, there's a Will Eisner award in the comic field of industry. And it is #1, and it's, you know what, anytime you get like a blonde Goyle in trouble with, you know, like this chimp dude and treasure, and then you get the Spirit coming in. I mean, it's a really nice, appealing, attractive cover.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those, man, you just sunk my battleship. It's a double tap. Not only did it come back what I thought was about a grade and a half lower than I had expected, I had prejudged this to be something approaching a 6, maybe not quite a 6. So prejudging it at a fine -5.5 to come back at a 4, that's mean. That's like, you know, getting a crotch hit, and then when you're down, you know, on your knees in pain, you get a kick in the ribs. So it's not only a restored, even though it's slightly restored, it's a restored 4.0.
Yeah, so they hammered you not only with the resto, they
Hammered
also
me with the grade.
with the grade. Now
I am so deep into this one that I will never get my money back.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, restored grade basically means whatever the grade is, you basically subtract half of it. From Overstreet at a 4, it's currently about $100, and from the realm, a 4 right now are probably a little bit more, $112.50. So $50-$60 Canadian. That's not even what you'd pay to get it slapped. So I mean, it'll be a cautionary tale for me just to maybe look books over a little bit more. You're always, when you're submitting, taking a chance. So good, bad, and the ugly. This was the real ugly. This was the real ugly part. But having taken your medicine and gotten all the disappointments out of the way, I must, in all honesty, admit that I was, if I'm being philosophical, somewhat pleasantly surprised. 16 books in total were submitted. 3/4 of those books, 12 of those 16.
you're happy.
I'm happy with, because those 12 books out of the 16 all came back within an 8 to a 9.2 grade from VF to near mint minus.
Yeah, that's great.
So with that part of it, and that's 3/4 of it, I am very content. So these were the bad medicine, get it out of the way books. Now we will go into the hits and or the Cowabunga books.
And just one more question before we start going on to the books that you're happy with. yeah, I get that it's a restoration. I get that, and I get them that they have to market as such. But do you agree with the grading of 4.0?
No.
When you look at that cover, when you look at the spine?
If well, you know what? Some people would say, well, if the restoration is going to be anywhere, if it's on the cover, which is that's what it's saying that it is, it's probably going to be within that dark area where the spine is. You know, to the left of there.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that improves the thing, I don't know how that judges it as far as judging the grade of it, because I mean, all I can say is speaking to that. If that is a VG cover, that's a damn handsome VG cover.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I maybe not have the best eye in the world, but I personally don't think it's a 4.0.
Well, you're going to be taking closer shots of this. You can show the spine. You can get in closer and show our viewers what exactly we're talking about when it comes to that cover, because it's a damn good looking 4 cover.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I love it anyways, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in.
Hoi hoi.
Okay, now on to the happy books, or the books that you were satisfied with the grading. Is that correct?
Yeah, so in other words, hits. In other words, I would call this segment Crazy 8s. These are all going to be VF at full 8.0s. A subtitle of this segment probably could have been, "It doesn't make your juices come alive if it come back at 7.5."
Is that it?
So that, you know, if for no other reason that for me an 8.0, at least for a Silver Age book, is an investment grade book. So it's no mean feat. Prime example. This first book here, Flash 155 from 65. Now, books pre-65 and earlier for DC and an 8.0 or higher, I mean, it's nothing to sneeze about
Not
these
easy
days.
to find.
And if you can find them, you're usually being forced to pay up.
That's right.
We've featured this book before, picked up at a local. I looked at it and it was basically, this one I was sweating bullets. But you know what? I was a little bit brave, and actually I did an Oracle mind meld with CGC graders. I had predicted to come exactly at an 8, and it came back an 8. So
well done.
Bullseye on me for that one. I was almost counting the spine ticks, the thing, because there is minor ones that along the spine that break color, and I'm going, is 3 too many? Is 4 too many? And you know, it was down to that. But I mean, I'd pre-graded it an 8, and it came back exactly an 8. So happy with this one.
Yeah, and it is a beautiful book, Jose. A real nice flash book, great cover.
And again, to emphasize the key element of this one, and my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, this issue 155 is the true first appearance of the Gauntlet of Supervillains.
Oh, I agree, absolutely. Fantastic book. I'm glad you got it back. It's love seeing it graded. Okay, now if I'm not mistaken, you picked this up at the Toronto Comic Book Show probably about a year ago.
Within the last calendar year, Toronto Comic Book Show, best little shows, pop-up shows, and the GTA bar none. Shouts out from the Silver Age Dudes to the promoter there, Rob. Pick up from Big B, the location from Barrie. Nice young guy. We spoke to him at length on a couple of books at the last Toronto Comic Book Show. This one picked up earlier. Paid $100 even on this one, but that's what they had. If I remember correctly, I think I got 20 off. So 80 bucks Canadian, 60 US at the time. I'm done well on this one. I haven't broken it down into the numbers. A nice 8.0 grade, that's what I was expecting it. Actually pre-graded it. I was conservative on this one and it graded it at VF minus. I was a little concerned of the overall kind of tightness of it in the spine tops and in the corners and just, you know, those little things here and there that could differentiate a 7.5 from an 8. So again, came up half grade higher. I'm happy with an 8 therefore, very much.
Can't complain when it comes back better than you expected, that's for sure. Fantastic book.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite from my childhood, one of the first books I ever remember picking up, so it is important for it to come back a full 8 on that one for me. Personal note, personal score on this one.
Cool. And Thor number 166 from July 69, and this is another book that you're happy. I guess didn't you predict this came back exactly higher?
No, higher. And this one, but then you know what? I picked up an 8. You know what? I paid up for it. Picked up at a local. Now we're into the Bronze Age, 15-cent cover. But it is a tough white book cover to get in grade, just like the previous issue, the first first appearance of him or Warlock, who would become. It's a tough black cover. I mean, I predicted it an 8.5, and I probably would pay at least a 9.92 price from the local, but you pay to get the grade here. At an 8, you could say, I mean, some people, if you're a glass half empty kind of guy, you're saying, well, you predicted it to being an 8.5, and you're really hoping for a 9, and it comes back an 8. Well, shouldn't be disappointed. Not so much. You know what? I really like this book. I like the cover. It's a classic Kirby cover where Thor gives Goldilocks a beat down. I mean, it's a nice book to have. And again, the reason why to pick up this one over the other one, well, if you had the bucks for an 8, then you were paying significantly more. I've always said, if you can't afford a high grade first appearance, get the best grade you can afford. Second appearance, you can never go wrong. In this case, second full appearance of him who become Warlock at an 8.0. Not too shabby.
Not too bad. Again, I don't have the best eye in the world, but with the exception of just a slight bit of yellowing and maybe a little bit something going on in that maybe top left corner there. I'm not seeing a whole lot wrong with this book, Jose.
And you shouldn't for a full VF. It's people forget they not look down their nose at it. It's a low grade, high grade, if you could put it that way. A VF book is still a very nice, good condition book.
That's for sure. I'll take one any day. Fantastic, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in. And going straight from Thor into the power of Warlock. This kind of works though, doesn't it?
Nice segue. Kind of like when you get those 2 killer tracks from an album you never listened to before, and they just flow seamlessly into each other. Well, of course, you know, for him, Warlock, I mean, he became a popular dude for a brief time there. This is Power of Warlock. This is from my favorite time frame in the Marvel Silver Age, the early 70s, the 72, 73. This one is from August of 72. 20-cent picture paint cover. Tough black cover to get.
That's for sure. Yeah.
An origin of Warlock or him. Yeah. With front and center the main nemesis from the story, Man Beast or Beast Man, half man, half beast.
Cool.
Which half rules the other is you know, the time of night and day, like Janus, a 2-headed god. He could be benign or he could be malevolent. And anyways, nice Gil Kane cover. Paid big time for this. I probably paid at least a 9 or 9.2 or 9.4 price for it, but
can't win them all.
Can't win them all. I got it back in 8. Again, I think I had prejudged it to be a 8.5 if I remember correctly on this one.
Okay, so just slightly lower than you expected.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great book, Jose. And again, you're making me jealous here, and I think it's fantastic. Okay, and this is the last book of the evening, but wow, what a spectacular book. Captain Marvel number 28, and I don't think this one needs much introduction, and you're okay with the grade, right? You're okay.
I'm okay with it because a great price was paid. This was a comic book. This was from the Fan Expo, from Big B, the guys from the Hamilton location.
Yeah.
Shout out to Walter there. This was one of their half-price bin pickups. $20 Canadian paid for this book, man.
Wow.
As far as the books we just featured for these crazy 8s 8.0 segment, this was the cheapest by far.
This was your Bargoon.
Bargoon book. It costs obviously significantly more to get at CGC, but
you paid for it.
I love that Starlink cover. Again, significance, minor key, but it's still a key. This is the second time that Thanos appears on the cover, and he's front and center on this cover. Unlike the previous issue, the first appearance from issue 27, Captain Marvel, where he's in the tiny corner in a window, flanked by Death. And this one, he's right there, front and center. Man, for $20, a VF white pages book, a book that's from like 1974. I can't complain.
And this is a book I've been looking at you know, at the last couple of conventions, kind of hoping to pick one up as well, because second Thanos on the cover, it's not going to cost you a whole lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's definitely worth picking up.
But the longer you hold on to it, they will increase. People will filter down to these books.
Yeah.
Remember, people out there not really in the know, who are speculating, who don't have the comic book knowledge, maybe necessarily that some of us geeks do, know that the first appearance and the early appearances and stuff like that, maybe the origin, always get the love first. It needs that love to filter down to some of the big stories. And this is one of the big story arcs for me. Captain Marvel issues 25 to 33. I have 8 of the 9 issues. I have 7 of the 9 CGC. I have 1 Raw that I picked up recently, and I have 1 more book to get, and I have that full set CGC.
Cool. But, like I said, they won't stay cheap forever because people don't stay stupid forever, do they? Anyways, those are some fantastic books, and we are not done. We're done for this episode, but we got a lot more because Jose got a whole boatload of CGC books coming back from Retro Rare, and we're going to show them all to you. But for tonight, that's it. Nice, short, quick. So if you had a date, we're not going to keep you from that date. And guys, if you like what you saw, leave a comment because we love reading them, and we will see you next time.
Hoi hoi and happy hunting.